This video is the second part of the top 20 themes in the King of Fighters series. If you didn't watch the first part, I highly recommend to start with that first, link in the description. Also, quick reminder, I'm only including themes that started in KOF. Okay, let's not waste any time and get right to it. Here's the top 20 best themes of the King of Fighters series, part 2. Iori Yagami is one of the most popular, if not the most popular character ever in the entire series, and this channel is a proof of that, as his video has the highest number of views to this day. It's not surprising that the red-headed man has the best music throughout the multiple iterations of the franchise. Regardless of which game we're talking or what partners he's teaming up with, Iori's themes are consistently good. KOF 2002 UM is no different. Tranquilizer, which is the Yagami team theme in that game, is a pretty damn good track. As one of the new original compositions, it's a very unique theme associated to Iori. Tranquilizer has no jazz or saxophone beat in it, which surprised KOF fans who are used to hear that type of music playing in the background when they pick their favorite red-headed fighter. I personally don't find the lack of saxophone that strange. Iori is a bass guitar player in the first place, and this theme suits him pretty well. I always imagine that he's the one playing in the track. And speaking of guitar, this segment is just incredibly amazing. KOF 2003 may not be as valued as other entries in terms of pure gameplay, but if there was something that did it right, it was offering us a high quality soundtrack. And one of its best compositions was the theme of the new heroes team, Splendid Evil. Calling them heroes might be kind of a stretch, because the three newcomers to 2003 didn't look or act as your stereotypical valiant prince in shiny armor. One of them, Shen, was a pure street fighter who entered the competition just to enjoy the thrill of combat and measure his strength against strong opponents. His partner, the mysterious assassin Dulon, had other intentions behind his participating, as he was seeking revenge against his own father, but it was their third teammate that the theme's name describes perfectly. The unlikely hero, Ash Crimson, beautifully tricked and outwitted everyone in order to get his hands on Chizuru's sacred treasure, revealing himself at the end of the game to be the most despicable of villains. Of course, his motivations turned out to be much more complex and selfless in later episodes. All in all, Splendid Evil did a great job introducing a new type of protagonist that was quite different and unusual compared to his predecessors. As said in previous videos, KOF 97 didn't have the best overall soundtrack in the series, as most of the stages had only an ambient sound. Ironically, this iteration also gave us some of the best themes ever created in an SNK game, and Bloody is one of them. The New Faces team theme is just genius. Listening to this beautiful track tricks you at first into believing that Yashiro and his friends were just a cool and friendly rock band. But the more you listen, you inevitably start to notice the unsettling riff motif, implying that there was something evil hiding underneath their seemingly innocent smile. The inclusion of the scary gothic-like segment in the arranged version was a superb addition that gave us clues about the New Phases team's true nature and their potential bound to the evil entity Orochi. It's worth mentioning that Bloody has a remix in 2002 UM titled Re-Bloody and is also quite good. I'm genuinely torn between the two and can't decide which one is the better version, but for the sake of nostalgia, I'll go with the arranged version of 97. In Spite of One's Age, also known as Who's Your Daddy theme, was first used as the official BGM for the infinitely charismatic Masters theme in '98, which was initially composed of Saishu, Haidern and Takuma back then, before Saishu was replaced by Chin in 2002 UM. Regardless of the game, the title of this theme describes perfectly the members of this team. Veteran fighters who have long passed the prime of their age, yet can still kick some serious butt. I personally prefer the 2002 UM remix this time. I feel that this version is more sad and emotional, in a good way of course, which are probably the feelings that this theme is trying to capture. That being said, the '98 version has its own charm and was even better in many sides. The beautiful acoustic guitar was one of its strong points, and the stage associated to it helped giving the theme an extra emotional impact, especially when you notice that it's the same stage of the Art of Fighting team in '95, only all destroyed and worn up, maybe just like the three old fighters. In Spite of One's Age is one of the most inspirational themes, especially for old kids like me. It somehow manages to convince us that getting old is not that bad. I know I said about Iori that he consistently has amazing themes throughout the series, but the same thing can be said about Kim as well, and that not just in the King of Fighters franchise, but also in his original series Fatal Fury. However, choosing the best Kim theme in KOF surprisingly wasn't that difficult, for Seoul Road in '96 is yet to be topped to this day, despite how good his other tracks are. This BGM has such a powerful vibe in it that it just impossible to describe. All I can say is it flawlessly captures the unwavering sense of justice of which Kim is known for. He is determined in reforming his two criminal partners no matter what, and keeps them under control with an iron fist, or shall I say an iron kick, considering his fighting style. Even if you don't agree with his methods, listening to this theme will make you respect him and admire his resolve. Maybe that's why I always have chills whenever I listen to it, especially during this part. This theme made a return in KOF 14, and it plays only when Kim faces Chang or Choi. When I first heard it, it totally caught me off guard, as I did not expect it to be there. It was such a wonderful surprise. If Bloody was subtle in conveying a feeling of worry and mistrust towards the new faces team, Rhythmic Hallucination throws all subtlety through the window. Each beat in it screams you're going to die now and there is nothing you can do about it. Just like with the Guinness theme, the end of the world vibe is palpable within Rhythmic Hallucination. This feeling is further strengthened with a beautiful apocalyptic stage where the fight against the Orochi team occurs. The guitar plays a major role in portraying the trio as violent and ruthless individuals, and is also a clear reminder of their origins as a rock band. Only now they embrace their true personas. They drop their friendly masks and no longer hide their evil intentions. They are here to exterminate the human race and will do all they could to achieve that. But it's towards the middle of the track where the theme reaches its top quality. It becomes disturbingly calm with the beautiful harp. When you hear it, you no longer have the slightest doubt that you are dealing with inhuman and otherworldly beings. Now you know why they're called the Heavenly Kings. And yet another theme from KOF 96. And let me tell you, we're still not done yet with the soundtrack of that game. Chizuru is one of my favorite female characters in the entire franchise, not only because she has a real impact and crucial role in KOF lore, but also because of her incredibly beautiful theme, Fairy. When I first heard Fairy, I was surprised how dynamic and energetic it was. I initially thought that it didn't fit as Chizuru's personal theme, despite how good it was. Why would a serious priestess slash businesswoman have a rock BGM? Then I learned later that this charming young woman is very into motorcycle racing, and let's not forget that she is also a badass fighter with magical powers. Chizuru is one of the cheapest sub-bosses in the series and the one responsible of many rage quits. Needless to say that after considering all that, I completely changed my mind about this song. Fairy is the perfect theme for Chizuru. It was also used as the official BGM of the Women Fighters team in '98 and remixed later in 2003 as a new version called Sacredness. But none of those versions is as good as the '96 arrangement. It just hits you so hard with these awesome guitar riffs and makes you beg for more. Now this is how you introduce a new protagonist to a long-running franchise. You give him a sick design, a deep backstory, and one of the best themes ever created. Originally designed to completely replace the series' main heroes Kyo and Iori, who were supposed to be absent in '99, K-Dash had to be convincing in every aspect to say the least. And although the two aforementioned characters made a comeback in the new saga, a lot of care still went to the series' new dark hero. For instance, his theme, KD0079, was the highlight of '99's whole soundtrack, which had many other high-quality tunes. This alternative rock track has an unforgettable sci-fi beat in it that perfectly mirrored the one for Chrysalis' theme. KD0079 is much more heroic and epic, which is unsurprising. It is the hero team's theme after all. Fun fact, when I used to play the game on the PlayStation 1, whenever I reached K-Dash's team, who were always the last team you fight before Chrysalid, for some reason K-Dash's entrance to the stage always coincided with this part of the theme. I can't describe how epic the fight becomes. Arashi no Saxophone 2 is undoubtedly Iori's most famous theme and by far his best, which is saying a lot considering that all his tunes are very high quality. The saxophone in this soundtrack is such a treat for the ears that it will make you fall in love with jazz. No theme is more fitting to a character than this one is to Iori. As a jazz band member and someone who doesn't like violence and prefers minding his own business most of the time, despite his reputation as a violent and cruel man, he only gets aggressive when provoked or in the presence of his arch nemesis Kyo. Arashi no Saxophone 2 captures this side of Iori's personality, a chill individual deep inside in spite of his menacing look, but still someone who shouldn't be messed with. Paradoxically, his two partners are the total opposite. They look charming and warm from the outside, I mean sometimes, but in reality they are vicious and brutal people. Arashi no Saxophone 2 is one of the reasons why the Yagami team in general and Iori in particular are so popular. A legendary theme for one of the most iconic characters in fighting games. And before getting to the number one spot, here's some honorable mentions. This list was difficult to make. Not only it was a nightmare to place these unique themes in a specific order, I had to sacrifice a lot of tracks that I really liked and keep them outside the list. However, if there was a decision that was pretty easy to make for me, it was choosing the number one theme. The winner of this list was always going to be Isaka from K-Wave 96. I still remember the first time I heard Isaka in the arcades and the chills I felt. At that moment, I knew that the King of Fighters is going to be my favorite fighting game series ever. Every note in this theme screams the word epic. Kyo Kusanagi, the leader of the hero team and one of the possessors of the 3 sacred treasures, is getting involved more than ever with Orochi. He was easily and severely beaten by Genets before the tourney started, but instead of getting demoralized in front of the glaring difference in power between him and the Heavenly King, he actually managed to get even stronger by reinventing his fighting style and entering the competition determined to settle some scores. This is the theme that defined K-Wave for me. Fewer tracks have succeeded in reaching this level of emotional impact, and for these reasons, Isaka is my best theme in the King of Fighters series. Music is a very subjective matter, and I expect you to disagree with me, in which case, why don't you tell me which theme is your favorite and why it should be the number one? Special thanks to my patrons for their generous support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.